Hello YouTube, it's Peachtree Gaming Scotland here and welcome back to another video. Hope you guys are well and gaming lots. So in today's video we'll be talking about games like I do every week, but more importantly the games I've been playing recently. I'll also be talking about the games I'm looking forward to playing or picking up in the future, and the games I'm most excited for in 2019 and beyond. So without further ado, before we get into the video, let me know what games you've been playing recently or what games you're looking forward to playing, whether that be this year or maybe next year. But without further ado, let's jump into the games I've been playing recently. So the first game, going back to January, I thought really good things about this game from Capcom. It's one of Capcom's games, and that is the Resident Evil 2 remake. Now at the time I was a bit sceptical because I wanted to take a stab in the dark, quite literally, and pick up my very first game into the franchise of Resident Evil. I'd never previously played any Resident Evil game before, and I saw some really good things online, heard some really good reviews online of Resident Evil 2. Now I know I'm not basing everything based on reviews. You have obviously got to do your own research, etc. But the single player story and narrative experiences are the games I really look for. So Resident Evil 2 took me around 6 weeks to complete, playing it solidly every weekend up until fairly recently. I have to say the game is absolutely phenomenal, a really good single player story, and it sort of cuts between Leon and Claire, the two main characters. Leon, who's a rookie cop, first day on the job, and Claire Redfield, who is looking for her brother Chris. Now, it's all about this virus and prevents it from spreading, basically. So Resident Evil 2 is absolutely brilliant. I did not play the original, so I can't compare it to the original game on the PlayStation 1 to now. I can only go by and speak about the game that I played back in January, and that was Resident Evil 2. As I say, the story is fantastic, the characters are fantastic. I've seen a lot of people online saying it's very repetitive, and I can see why, but I think there's just enough differences between the different A and B scenarios for both Leon and Claire to make it different, like just having items in different locations and having certain areas in Leon's campaign not available in Claire's campaign and vice versa. And also, like, there's different sort of secondary characters in both campaigns that adds another layer of intriguement to both or all 4 campaigns. So I did complete the game, I eventually got the platinum for it. It took me 6 playthroughs. I used a really helpful guide by Square One Games, absolutely phenomenal guide and channel for all your trophy related inquiries. Please check Square One Games out. He's absolutely fantastic, very hard working person, and he produces really high quality guides, so I highly recommend you check him out on YouTube. So yeah, without the help from Square One Games, I don't think I would have got the platinum as quickly as I did. So I highly recommend you buy it if you haven't played the remake. Now let me know your thoughts down below, if the original in your eyes is better than the remake. Let me know the differences in your opinion, or just let me know your thoughts in general about Resident Evil 2. Now that was first game of the year I platinumed and played. Next up we're going to have another game. This has been out for a good number of years. Originally came out on the PS3, and that's Far Cry 3, but for the PS4 it's been brought back to the PS4, remade for the PS4. It's a classic edition which doesn't include any of the multiplayer part of the game or any DLC. No Blood Dragon DLC. But anyway, it's another Far Cry game, but not just any Far Cry game. It's Far Cry 3 set in the jungle. It's got quite a good sort of setting, and it goes and fits in well with the typical Far Cry game. It's got a single player campaign, it's got a lot of different side quest objectives, many different outposts. This is the game where it's got towers. The gameplay loop is basically getting scavenge sort of plants, etc. for crafting, and killing animals for crafting. Do your outposts, you get XP, go to the towers to unlock stuff, etc. So that's basically Far Cry 3 in a nutshell. This is the old style of Far Cry games. Now we're going on to another Far Cry game. This is the most recent game. It's Far Cry New Dawn. Now this takes place 17 years after the events of Far Cry 5. So I highly recommend you play Far Cry 5 first, just to get the sort of story, and there are some sort of spoiler plots in Far Cry New Dawn, which I will not be going over in this video because I don't agree with spoilers in general. But anyway, if you play Far Cry 5 first, play through that game, and then play this new Far Cry game. So it's Far Cry New Dawn. As I say, it's set 17 years after the events of Far Cry 5. It's a lot smaller game. It's more compact. There's less things to do in it. But in saying that, there are some differences from what I've seen so far. So in Far Cry 5 there was no mini-map from my memory, and there was no towers. There was one on Tutorial Island at the very start of the game, but it does go on to mention that towers are no such thing. You've still got your outposts in Far Cry 5, but yeah, basically since there's no mini-map, you can just explore at your own pace till your heart's content, and you gradually just find things in the environment, and once you find something it pops up on the map basically. Yeah, so basically it's just a case of you exploring the map at your own pace, at your leisure. And with Far Cry 5 there was like different islands which had different bosses, so you basically, but just by doing the missions or the sort of treasure hunts and stashes where you would find treasure hunt items after doing like a wee puzzle, or just crafting items or killing animals or whatever it may be, you would earn XP effectively, and once you got enough XP you could fight that island's boss, and once you fought all the bosses you obviously unlocked a lot of things and whatever else, and better weapons, better cars, etc. Then you could fight Joseph Seed, and based on that then you could complete the game, etc. Whereas this is 17 years after. It's still set in the Far Cry 5 universe. It's got the same map to a certain extent, but it's a lot smaller, and there's a lot more vegetation, a lot more colour in Far Cry New Dawn, the post-apocalyptic. All the vegetation has sort of made everything overgrown, but the main or biggest change to Far Cry New Dawn compared to Far Cry 5 is the addition of more difficult outposts. Let me explain. So in Far Cry 5, your traditional outposts where once you beat it, you get a certain XP or items, and that was that. You continued on and explored the world. But in Far Cry New Dawn you have the option to play the same outpost multiple times, each time getting harder and harder and harder. So that's why you're better waiting to upgrade your weapons to the best they can be before attempting the more difficult outposts. Now the main sort of currency, or the main item in Far Cry New Dawn is ethanol, which is basically a substance which allows you to upgrade your home base called Prosperity, upgrade your weapons, upgrade your vehicles, basically upgrade your health items, your explosives, your fast travel locations, your expeditions, which is a brand new separate mode in Far Cry New Dawn. So without ethanol you really can't get very far in the game. So in order to get ethanol you can get it from supply drops that randomly drop in the map, but you will be fighting off other enemies, or highwaymen they're called, the enemy sort of contingent in this game. So fighting off supply drops, and you can also get ethanol by beating the outposts, and by doing it undetected you get more. By doing it without setting off any alarms you get more ethanol. Ethanol is the main source of Far Cry New Dawn, and without it you will struggle. And also the second big change is different enemy types. Now before in Far Cry 5 you had enemies, you just killed them, whereas with this there's different difficulty or different levels of enemies, there's a hierarchy of enemies. So you've got your basic highwaymen, foot soldiers, you're easy to kill, who all have different health bars. Now with better weapons become harder enemies, so you've got your 3 or 4 different levels of enemy. You've got your normal foot soldiers, you've got your second sort of rank 2 enemies, you've got your rank 3 enemies, and I think you've got elite enemies that take forever to kill, so you really need the best weapons to kill them. And that goes for animals as well. You get your really easy animals to kill, and then as you progress through the game you come across more difficult enemies and really big massive brute enemies, so it adds a level of strategy to the game that wasn't there previously. But also there's a new expeditions mode which I haven't played yet, but I'm assuming from what I've read online it's sort of like an addition to, basically it's just another mode that you can play with friends online or by yourself. So yeah, so there are the main sort of changes to Far Cry New Dawn compared with Far Cry 5. As I say, I really love Far Cry 5, but anyway, let's get into some more games. So now we'll be going on to briefly look at the games I'm hoping to pick up in the near future. So obviously the big one for April is Days Gone, a new PSN Sony exclusive from Ben Studios. This is their first main console game in many years. I think the last one they did was a PS2 game, and they also did Uncharted Golden Abyss on the PS Vita, so I'm hoping this will turn out okay. I'm very skeptical at the moment, but I've pre-ordered it because it's a PlayStation exclusive game, and I love zombie games and I love open world games. Put the two together, and I'm hoping that it'll be a really good game to add to my collection. So that's Days Gone, coming April 26th. Also, I'm really curious about Spider-Man. That game does look incredible. I'm not the biggest superhero fan, but I can appreciate a good open world game when I see one, so I'll be hoping to pick that up eventually. Next up, we have obviously The Last of Us Part 2. I've got that on the pre-order. I've got Death Stranding, Ghost of Tsushima. We don't know if these are coming out 2019 or 2020. Cyberpunk 2077 is another game which I'm looking forward to playing, a sort of sci-fi type open world game. Looks really good. I'll hope to pick up Until Dawn eventually. I've just started playing horror games again after Resident Evil 2, so I've got the horror genre kick again. So Until Dawn's a make your own decision type game, try and make all your characters live, etc. The decisions affect the outcome of the game. I've got Life is Strange and Life is Strange Before the Storm. I have played these games digitally, but hope to pick them up in a physical copy of them. And Life is Strange 2, I'm hoping to pick that up at some point in the future. I've got Beyond Two Souls. I've not played that. It's another David Cage game which I'm really liking. I like David Cage as a sort of person, as a producer, a game publisher. I've got The Walking Dead final season that's just released. There was a fiasco about Telltale Games shutting down and whether we'll ever see the end of the Clementine story. So I've played the 3 previous games, and I hope to pick up that one at some point. So they are the games I'm looking forward to picking up. But the main 3 games that I'm really, or maybe 4 games that I'm really looking forward to playing is The Last of Us Part 2, Ghost of Tsushima, Death Stranding, and Cyberpunk 2077. And also I've got just a quick add-on here, the new Crash Team Racing remake, June 21st. So it's a collection of Crash Team Racing from PS1 and also Crash Nitro Kart. I believe I read online that all races and tracks are coming over into Crash Team Racing, so it's almost like a mixture of both of the games, which is cool. Some unbefore seen tracks, and you can also play with PS1 graphics from what I've seen as well, and there's also going to be new characters to play as. So that has been today's video. Hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section below. What games have you been playing recently? What games are you looking forward to? And as always, thank you very much for watching. I've been Patriot Gaming Scotland, and I'll see you on another video. Thanks very much indeed, guys. Bye bye.